And I know that there's so many things happening at the same time in the ecosystem, like the fees, which is another very, very intense topic. Like 2024 fees are just killing a bunch of people on their bottom line. So, I guess on the more innovative, fun side of things, this is what's happening. This is what's gonna start rolling out. And I think I just bring here the clues, right? The white paper, Rufus, the interaction of the recategorization with some of the clients, the how Amazon is reading the images, the video or the presentation about this Amazon representative that talk about how the system will work. So those are not coincidence. Amazon is telling a story, and they're sometimes so obvious about it, and we don't really like to pay attention until it is a reality, which I think that's one of the downsides of this industry. I think a lot of people just live in the right now, and they don't see far ahead, like thinking about, I don't know, in the future is just like so overwhelming because there's so many things in the present that you need to deal with. But yeah, I mean, those are the call to actions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we are here. I mean, I always like to be practical on Amazon Legends. I always like the listeners to take away something that they can apply, that's actionable, and then they can apply in their business, and then make an immediately see the impact. And also would like to cover new things. So this is obviously new. And by the time this episode airs, probably there will be recording this by in March of 24. So by the time the episode airs, there will probably be more stuff. And this is definitely, uh, as you put it, just a little bit of time that you spend on this will already make you an expert. So there is this thing called the Zulu principle. You familiar with it?
No.
So Zulu principle goes like this. If you read a book about Zulus, you become the Zulu expert in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you go to the library and spend the day educating yourself about Zulus, you become the Zulu expert in your town. If you can spare the time and the money and go spend a week in the Zululand, you become the Zulu expert in the world. So, so that's what you are talking about. You add the little bit that you're going to, spend time on making an effort, educating yourself. You will already be ahead of people, and because you will understand the basics of it, and you'll immediately use it, benefit from it, more than likely. But also, you'll now be into it, so that when they release new stuff, it's not going to be overwhelming. Otherwise, when they release everything, it's a lot of work. The other thing that I'd like to always advocate for, and I've seen this over and over, Amazon is doing what I call the open intelligence. In other words, in the old days, the Cold War days, everything was secret, right? And everything was secret. And at the same time, everybody would always try to keep things secret, find new ways to hide things, to hide items, information, whatever. That doesn't work anymore because we have this appetite to uncover things, plus the media and the social media and everything else. So now, what the companies, countries, and organizations are doing is they put everything out there, except that one way to provide no information is to provide a lot of information. So they
Yeah.
bury it inside all kinds of noise. Some of it misinformation, some of it disinformation, some of it real secret. And then, and of course, that's why lawyers are always making, because they study everything. They teach themselves, and so I always say Amazon is like that. They put out a lot of stuff. Like, for example, here is an actionable tip. Always keep an eye on your Seller Central homepage when you log in. They have news. They are putting out stuff all the time. And the second thing that I learned is learn to read between the lines, because
Yes.
this is a public company. They cannot be specific. They cannot really say anything that may by any chance bring liability, but they also have the responsibility to disclose. So
Yeah.
they disclose in the most diplomatic way that's going to avoid any liability. And that's why you have to learn to read between the lines. What is this saying? And then also don't just read one thing and then figure out what's between the lines. It's like 2, 3, 4 of those things, and then you can see the direction where it's going. And if you think, you know, the reaction of a lot of the sellers that I work with, and something happens and the reaction is, this is stupid. Right. Amazon has done something stupid. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is stupid here?
Yeah. Yeah. To that point, Nick, for sure, I realized that I always been like obsessed with Amazon and seeing all the movements and try to make up the story and the overarch like mission and vision that they have. But to your point, I reread the shareholder letter that Andy Jassy published in 2023, which was that was published on April 13 for the previous year. So, right, like saying what they did and what they were planning to do in 2023 to be better, blah, blah, blah. Everything, like at least 5 or 6 paragraphs were about how they're gonna fix their fulfillment issue, which was at that moment, and in 2023 that changed. Fulfillment for them was a loss leader too. They were losing money on FBA and they were subsidizing our operations. He was saying in the letter how much efficient and how many things they needed to change and how committed they are to make that business efficient. Then this new update in the fees comes up at the end of 2023 to be enforced in 2024. And people were like, oh my God, we didn't know, we have no clue, blah, blah, blah. He said it. Like he was preparing that letter for a year, right? So it takes a year to see the changes. And that's where, to our conversation, Cosmo, the information, the Rufus, the Amazon Comprehend, the video, the advertising, DSP, audiences, all of that information, the pieces are already in the wild, like they are interacting with us as we speak. The moment where everything gets connected, that's when everybody feels like, oh my God, they never told us this, but they did. And I'm so eager to read the this year's shareholders letter, because I bet you not that will have a lot of AI into the mix. Like they will talk about AI, about the innovations, about that they just bought or invested in a massive company, Anthropics, you know, the AI one that is building a lot of the probably the most sophisticated language model with AI. So this is not going anywhere. It's just a matter of time. But you know, I guess that a lot of people just like to live in the present and they don't see, or they don't read through the lines and they see what's coming next. But
I mean, we're living in an age where people, their attention span is very short. People cannot read. Like I do this test and I send an email and I put 3 points. They answer the first one, the second and the third. They never do. And now I just put the numbers. I create a numbered list so that they know 1, 2, 3.